showtime.
Yo, what is going on, Patriots Nation? I am your full-time scientist, fuller-time sports fan, the science guy, Soor, back with my longtime co-host, the father of Patriots Nation, Aiden Hauser. How's it going?
Phenomenal, dude. A 10-game win streak is awesome. I feel like each week I'm just like more and more excited about the team.
Yeah. I
especially after this game. Like last week was like, okay, like we won, like cool, it did not look good. And then completely like I'm sure Vrabel just talked with him and was like, we need to change something here. Like we got one more game, but before I buy. But they fired all centers. They looked awesome. It was such a fun game last night to head to the buy-in too also.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I feel like we've been slipping just a little bit, and we needed to get right game. And I was kind of worried about this game because the Giants have been good. They're really good for a 2-10 team. They've been in games a lot this season against good teams. You know, their list of almost wins is really impressive. So I wasn't sure. Jackson Dart was coming back, who both of their wins have been with Jackson Dart. So, and then it's the Giants who we just have a tendency to lose against in big games. So all those reasons got me to worry a little bit about this game. But yeah, I was thoroughly impressed by how the team played. And now we're sitting at 11-2, first in the AFC, which again, it feels crazy to say, but we've been saying this for weeks now.
We're the team to be afraid of again, which is awesome. Like everyone's hating on us again, which feels so good.
I mean, I think there are teams whose best is better than ours, but I'm not sure if there's a team this season that has reached like a 80 to 90 out of 100 level as consistently as we have. I'll put it that
and I think that's a crucial thing because I feel like casual fans of just like the league in general would be like, well, yeah, the Patriots are 10-2. They have the easiest schedule. But it's like we absolutely like manhandled the teams that we should have, other than the Bengals. But it's like the Panthers, we put up 40 on them, and then everyone's like, well, it's the Panthers. And then they just beat the Rams last week.
That's a good team that has an outside chance to win that division.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And the other team that has a good chance to win that division, we also beat.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, yeah, we're like 80%, like, or guess whatever you're saying, like maybe our max isn't as high as like a Josh Allen or maybe a Patrick Mahomes led team, but at some point, like once we kind of piece it together, we could, because I mean, we have the defense. They played well. Like this was the game where I think we probably played the most physical, like mistake-free football.
Yeah.
And we could have put up 50 on them if we didn't take our foot off the pedal.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think the last game kind of showed that we can withstand playing really, really bad football. We can find a way to win playing our worst football. I feel like that was probably some of the worst football we've played all season, excluding the first two games. And again, I gave them a 3-game mulligan, right? And they took it. But other than those first 3 games, which, you know, how much are you going to read into the first 3 games of a team with a new coach, a couple new receivers, new offensive linemen, half the defense being new, half the staff being new. I mean, at that point, it's not the same team. But after settling in, they've found a way to navigate the cadence of these games. They've found ways to bring their best level as often as possible, and I think and survive teams' best shots. So I think it's been impressive. Last year's, people talk about the strength of schedule, but fact is, last year's team would not have been able to handle these games like this.
Another thing too is like, I don't think I can't remember if I mentioned on the podcast, but everyone likes to talk about strength of schedule. They're all professional teams. These are all the best of the best. Like even the Browns are going to win some games, like with Shador or Dylan Gabriel like playing horribly like this. Just it's the pros. Very rarely are we going to get those 0-loss teams. Like anybody can beat anybody.
Well, and they did win. Like I think the game before the Patriots game, they won. They won big against the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
The week before losing to us, the Panthers won 30-0 against the Falcons. Like I think slightly before playing us, the Titans won against the Cardinals. So yeah, you're right. Anybody can beat anybody in this game, and the fact that we're able to play at, I would say somewhere between 50 and 90 out of 100 every single time. And most of the time we're kind of hovering between 80 and 90. It is very impressive. And that's how you win. That's how you win games. Any team can have a really, really good series where they look like the best team in the NFL or a really good game, but can they do it game in and game out? Can they do it series in and series out within a game? Both consistency within a game and consistency from game to game have been hallmarks of this team, and very much wasn't a thing in the other post-Brady years. I mean, we've officially we officially have more games than we have any of the post-Brady years, and by some margin too, because the best was 10 wins, and we still have 4 games left to go. Wow, season's going fast. But it's also just the cleanest football I've seen New England play in a while. I mean, really since our last Super Bowl year.
And like on top of like mistake free and like clean, just like explosive.
That's been the biggest hallmark, right? Like the fact that we're making big plays and we're going for big plays. We have that mentality, and we have players that can capitalize on that mentality. So yeah, let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's start with the downs, like we usually do.
It's gonna be hard for me to find one, dude.
Oh, I've got downs.
You got? Well, then you can go first while I'm thinking.
Red zone offense. You see the number 33, and you hope that's 5 touchdowns with 2 missed extra points, but it was not. We settled for a lot of field goals in this one. Too many for my taste. I think there was just better football to be played. I mean, we scored. We had 4 field goals. Would have had 5 if Andy had made all of his, and just 3 touchdowns. For me, in a season or in a time of the season where we're talking Super Bowl expectations, for me that's borderline unacceptable. You talk about. I'm trying to just think of how many of those field goals were in red zone territory. 22, so that means it was from the 4. Obviously, should have been a touchdown. 30, so from the 12. 28, so from the 10. 23. All 4 field goals from the red zone. That's not acceptable. That's not how we do it in New England. And I mean, actually, only one of our touchdowns was a red zone touchdown. So what is that? One of 5 in the red zone. I mean, we're gonna get into the compliments, which is why I'm digging in a little bit, but we need to find a way. And the lack of an inside run is definitely hurting us. Obviously, it would be nice to have that threat when you're in the red zone, and especially.
I thought Ramondre played okay. I mean, I know you would look at his yards per carry and be like, eh. But I mean, when he ran up the middle, like he was getting good chunk yardage.
He played well. It was just, I think when the field shrinks, our offense struggles a bit, and I mean, and so does our defense, right? This has just been an issue for this team. The red zone on both sides has been the weakest part of the field for this team, game in and game out, and I'm really not sure what the fix looks like. I mean, part of this obviously has to do with the fact that we have issues on the offensive line, injuries and things. But I think part of it does involve going to the drawing board and thinking about what kinds of plays we're calling. And we'll get into bye week priorities later, but I do think this is probably the biggest one.
Mm-hmm. Am I down?
Yeah.
It's kind of be a short one. I feel like it's kind of hard to pick. Like, I feel like we're kind of nitpicking, but this was the first time I've ever seen Bryce Behringer hit a like a bad punt. It just completely, he shanked it bad. I texted you, I was like, I guess he is human. Like, he's not a robot. Yeah. But I mean, like, all in all, like, I thought special teams was pretty good for the most part. I think that was just kind of a timely, just a bad time to botch a punt like that, which I guess it didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because, like, we came away with a win. And I'm pretty sure that drive was the one that turned into the Younghoe Koo missed kick, if I remember. But that was
hilarious.
It was just weird, like, with how he's been doing all those, like, just kicks inside the 10s, 15s, or whatever, just to, like, shank it that bad was just.
Yeah. Also, to be fair, that was not a missed field goal. That was a sack. That's how it got.
Which is what. Yeah, he didn't even kick it. He kicked the ground.
Which means, luckily for him, it didn't even go in his stats.
Man, the downfall of him has been so wild because, like, he was a really good kicker for a while, and then, like, he gets cut, bounced around, kicks the ground. Like, he's just a meme now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think he was a Patriot at one point, as well, but I mean, he was one of the revenge game storylines that we were talking about. Although they were much better.
Right.
What was it? I think it's Younghoe Koo. It's
the Gunnar Olszewski.
Gunnar Olszewski, of course. But in all seriousness, it really was the Mike Vrabel revenge game.
Right.
He's in New England. He's facing the team that cost him a Super Bowl. Probably thinking about the helmet catch, and finally got his chance to get revenge on that team. So props to him. I'm sure that was part of the reason behind why we were so physical.
Mm-hmm.
Vrabel probably was like, "Don't hold back." But yeah, I would agree. I think that punt was suboptimal.
But again, it's like I'm just saying it was one punt, and that's why he's on the down. Like, we played a pretty clean game.
Yeah, and his other punt was good. He pinned them inside the 20. And even the punt that was bad, like, they still started in their own territory, and that was probably the worst punt he's had maybe in his entire career. So
sure.
Also, a good time to have a bad punt when we're up by a lot. But yeah, but we need better things from the greatest player of all time. And yeah, and Andy B missing a field goal wasn't great, but I'm not going to put him as a down because he still made 4 out of 5, and like extra points. Sure, they were all really short because we kept getting pinned in the red zone. I guess that was the one kick he missed, the one that we didn't, where we weren't in the red zone. I think it was from 45. But you got to make your chip shots, and he did. So Let's see. I had the first down so easily, but it's hard to find. It's hard to find a second. Fourth quarter sloppiness, I'd say. Kind of let them back in the game.
Yeah.
I felt
just by being too conservative, I guess.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the defense in general in some of the later stages of that game. But I also don't blame them for getting a little bit lax. They were up big and we're probably starting to look at the bye. But yeah, I still think we could have defended a little better there towards the end of that game. Especially like I feel like rush defense has started to be a little leaky. And again, not having Milton Williams is part of that. But you got to be able to survive not having one player. But
right.
Singletary had his moments for sure against us. Dart had a couple runs. So yeah, I just think there's better. We can just be a little bit cleaner from coast to coast and could have played that fourth quarter a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree too. I'm sure once it comes playoff time, we'll probably won't be holding back as much when it looks like we have a comfortable lead.
No. But you look at that, you've got the touchdown. They made us punt, and luckily they didn't do anything else after that. But for a little bit there, just for a half second, I was wondering, are we going to blow this?
I was too. I was like, we have too big of a lead, and now they're slowly coming back. I was getting scared, but that's me every single game. I guess for my final down, I think I don't think we had tons of penalties, but just like sometimes we just have really bad timed penalties, like the holding play on that 30-yard or whatever yard touchdown to Hunter Henry that would have given May another his first 300-yard game.
Yeah,
that was kind of dumb.
I feel bad for the kid. He got that ticket. I don't honestly. He's probably not losing sleep over that. He hasn't had 300, but it's just every game has been
280
consistent and yeah, that was a badly timed penalty though. I think I didn't see it though. Like I didn't think it was that bad. But obviously I'm biased and I wanted that touchdown to count.
Right.
But yeah, I think penalties were a problem area early in the season. They've subsided, but that was definitely a poorly timed one. I think a couple of the other penalties were also on the offensive line. So I think I think the line played as well as it reasonably could have, and that's actually, I guess spoiler, but it's going to be my first stop. We can just.
Dude, I was going to use it.
I just. You don't have your starting left tackle. You don't have your starting left guard. And you play a really clean game.
And we had Vidarian Lowe, who we hated him last year.
This is the best I've seen Vidarian Lowe play in his career.
And Ben Brown at left guard, and they're just like, I don't think they had a sack on us that game.
No. Oh, let me verify that. Oh, 3 sacks, but for 6 yards. So basically
3 sacks?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't remember
yards.
that.
I mean, I don't even know if they were sacks or if they were.
I think it was when May's trying to rush and he's just barely the pocket collapse. He rushes, he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
I feel like what Zyce did have were probably more on him. Yeah, I just. You didn't have much in the way of penalties. You didn't have and you didn't have much in the way of sacks, and really May looked comfortable. That was the big thing. Obviously, he did his part in quick releasing and all that, but he looked comfortable. The pocket was clean. The running game did a good job. Mondre had his moments. Henderson had a great game as well. Of course, the Giants are the worst rush defense in the NFL, so that helps. But yeah, I thought Brown and Lowe did a great job, and Mike Nwuenu's been playing incredible football. Bradbury has been playing passable football lately. I still think I think at some point, maybe even next season, Jared Wilson's probably going to take that role from him. But he's been a serviceable center. It's just, especially when last year it was like, oh, which offensive line is gonna allow defenders past him this time? Which offensive lineman is gonna commit the penalty on this play? It's just gotten so much better, and when you can take an injury to maybe two of your three best offensive linemen, and still find a way to protect the football and protect your quarterback, I'd say job well done.
What do I want to go with? I'll just say just overall intensity. A lot of people think that Christian Ellis hit was dirty. Like it was brutal, and that's like what you want to see. Like Dart wasn't going out of bounds. He was going to try and fight. He was on the sidelines for sure, but like that's not the kind of player he is. And Ellis just mauled him, and like that's what you got to do. And I mean, especially the type of player Dart is, like he's going to try and fight. So like, I don't know. That was awesome. I think the hit to Olszewski was I'm surprised that wasn't called a penalty. I still like the intensity. I hope he's doing all right. But I mean, we just had so much just like fire and energy. Like it was so fun to watch because of that. It wasn't like, oh, we're just randomly putting up a lot of points. Like everybody was just like playing out of their minds. Like it felt like they were playing for something more than just the game, but that hit really started it. And then just like a few plays later, that was it Hawkins that just popped Theo Johnson, almost not laid him out in the middle of the field, and then the hit to him on the sideline. There was just a lot of like bang.
Yeah, and there was also the Marte Mapu hit, right?
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of big hits. It was just like it just felt like football back in like the mid 2000s again.
I know. This felt like an old school football game for sure. I mean, Mike Vrabel probably was looking proudly. There were some hits that probably reminded him of himself. And I think it's been, Mike Vrabel is probably the biggest reason for this. I think he played with a sense of physicality, and I think his Titans teams also had, like, they were just bruising, and so yeah, I loved seeing that. It was this late in the season when you haven't had a bye this whole time, and I mean, this is a separate thing, but you should not week 14 bye should not be allowed. That should not be a thing. You got to start early. You got to end it earlier than that, because teams should not be having to play 13 games in a row before they get their bye.
Yeah. But then you also have the Bears with like a week 4 bye. Like that's equally as brutal.
No, I think you should shrink it on both ends. It should be like week
7, 8,
6
9.
to maybe week 10, something like that. Week 11 at the latest. But yeah, I think it's an intent thing. I just think we just had a lot of intent. And I mean, and not just on plays, even on like kickoff coverages and things like that, punt coverage. It just didn't allow much. and I love the Ellis hit. I mean, if you're and especially with Dart's running threat, you have to make sure that he gets out of bounds. Do you have to make sure that with that much contact? You don't have to, but it's preferable.
Well, it's funny too. It's like I think in a weird way that hit's probably a nice little welcome to the NFL moment because like after that he was sliding all over the place. He wasn't like trying to fight for more yards. So I don't think he wanted to get hit like that again.
Well, and you know, my hats off to Jackson Dart in general. Like the guy competes. His teammates were upset at that hit, but I don't think he cared. I think he was all here for it. And then there was that throw that he made where there were like two defenders on him and he just jumped and threw the ball anyway. He's a physical kid. I think he's a good not to get too positive about our opponents, but yeah, I like what I saw from him other than all of the plays that he didn't play well.
He's going to be good, and I hate it because I hate the Giants.
I know. I strongly feel like he's going to end up being good on a team that's not the Giants. I don't know how long his Giants future will last. We'll see. But especially, you know, when you have the Giants are a physical team as well. And so I was kind of worried the Patriots wouldn't be able to rise up to that and that they'll be able to use that physicality. Also, how dumb do you have to be to bench Abdul Carter for 2 series when you're facing the Patriots?
He must have done something horrible. I don't know.
I think he was late to like a team event. Bad call. But you know, back to the offensive line, like you were facing some other than those 2 drives where Abdul Carter was gone, like dealing with both him and Burns, that's not easy.
I think Burns is the NFC leader in sacks, so it's like he's premier edge rusher.
Yeah.
Was Dexter Lawrence playing too?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because yeah, their defensive line is like they got Burns, they got Abdul Carter, they got Kayvon Thibodeau, they got Dexter Lawrence. Like they have a lot of like valuable defensive line pieces.
Yeah. And Burns didn't do much. In general, I just thought they the Giants absolutely have some playmakers on the defensive end, and we kind of neutralized that threat for the most part. Was it my turn for the up, or is it your turn for the up?
I think it's your turn.
See, it's my turn. Okay. It's gonna be generic, but it needs to be said. Drake May, despite not hitting 300, had a phenomenal game. I thought efficient, you know, nearly 80% completions. Really no bad throws as far as like nothing that I felt was pickable. Nothing that I felt was putting his receivers in a bad situation. You know, he took his moments and just played really smart football. I especially feel like, you know the situation with the offensive line. You know that you're facing some good edge rushers. And I think he corrected for that and got the ball out more quickly. You know, part of the credit for that definitely goes to McDaniels as well. But I think he just played a really good game. He was aggressive enough without being too aggressive. And just had some big moments.
Yeah, I thought he played awesome. What I love about him too is just the fact that like you got these players who like quarterbacks who have their star player that can like sometimes get a little bit hyper targeted. But like May doesn't do that. Like you really have no idea who's going to get fed what any given week. Like Diggs has kind of been like, I kind of thought he'd be the alpha, but it's like he's just another valuable role player in an offense where like we're just full of them. And that's like fine. It's like perfect for the offense we run. Like Mac Hollins is making nice grabs. Like Kyle Williams on his only target had a 30-yard touchdown. Booty is continuing just to produce. Like Hunter Henry, like I don't know. We just have so many like guys where it's like, oh, they had a 100-yard game. Oh, they had a 100-yard game. And it's just like he's just gonna feed who's ever open sort of deal.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we also got a lot of people getting open. There was a lot of separation. Receivers did a good job in their matchups as well.
Mm-hmm.
For my third up,
I got mine yet.
You
just did yours. The second.
Oh,
it's my second. And I gotta say mine because I don't want you to steal it. Marcus Jones is my third up.
Nice.
Or second up. Were you gonna use it?
I was thinking about it, but I had others as well. So,
dude, that 90-yard touchdown, like you don't get punt return touchdowns for 94 yards very often. That was like a kick return. That was awesome. But
it was beautiful.
Something even more amazing is I don't know if you knew this, but he now holds the NFL record for the highest punt return like average in NFL history.
Wow.
So like as far as punt return yards go, like per punt, like he's the best punt returner of all time. Now, like I won't say he's the best of all time because obviously it was like Devin Hester and like Josh Cribbs, like guys like that who have been just doing it for so long. But like on a average, I think it's over 75 returns. Like he holds the record.
Oh wow, yeah, I don't think it's crazy to say that he could end up like he's putting himself in position to maybe in a few years down the road start to threaten that territory that's being held by Devin Hester and Josh Cribbs.
He's one of the guys on our team that like I think he deserves a bag and like needs to be a Patriot for life, like a Matthew Slater type thing, because just what he does on special teams and even just like even on defense is just really I don't think a lot of people even know like how good he is other than Patriots fans.
Yeah, and yeah. In addition to all that, let's also not forget that he's also a starting corner.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. He was awesome. That punt return was just that was huge. I think that's really like kickstarted like some of the intensity there too.
I do want to see just a little bit of Marcus Jones on offense. I just want them to try it. I want them to see what they've got. Are we saving it for the playoffs? Because if we're saving it for the playoffs, that's fine.
Well, I mean, even just to like keep him on, like defense is honest, being like, oh shoot,
exactly.
Marcus Jones is on the field, he's gonna get it, and then even if he doesn't, it's like just even little mental games of like you just got to be aware of his explosiveness.
Yeah, put him in as a decoy. Get him in, make him think he's getting the ball and give it to someone else.
But
have him direct snap it. You can do all kinds of stuff. Make him throw the ball.
How scared do you think a defense would be of like, oh shoot, like what's going to happen here? We got Kyle Williams, Travion Henderson, and Marcus Jones all in the field. Like who's going to cover who? Because chances are you don't have anyone on your team who's faster than any of those three.
Right. It's just if you let Marcus Jones get 5 yards or so worth of head of steam, you're not stopping him.
Mm-hmm.
And same goes with Travion Henderson. Like you have to get these guys down pretty much at the line of scrimmage, or pretty much as soon as really as soon as they get the ball, because
if it's in the open field, it's like good luck.
Exactly. We've seen the Marcus Jones offense thing just work so well the couple times we've tried it. I just think we're doing ourselves a disservice to not see what we can do with it. And I'm not saying we need to use him the way that to the extent that the Jaguars would use a Travis Hunter type of person. I wouldn't go that far, but he's shown enough that I just want to know what it looks like. Third up, I'm gonna say Christian Ellis. I feel like he's been. It wasn't just that hit though. He had 10 tackles. He was kind of all over the field, and I feel like he's very quickly turned himself from he's on the team to becoming really an X factor for this team. He even had a pass deflection. Like, I felt his presence. I feel like he made his presence felt the entire game. He was consistently someone that the Giants had to worry about beyond just that one hit. I also love that he didn't feel the need to apologize for that hit and just instead engaged in the brawl. But yeah, I feel like he's not just this game. I feel like he's been slowly but surely establishing himself in this defense. He's been very much on the up in terms of his role on this team and his contributions. So excited to see what we got from him today. Excited to see what we could get from him the rest of the way. I feel like he's going to play a big role on this team as we get to the playoffs. Absolutely.
Yeah, if he can keep playing like that every week, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with my final up. I think I'm just gonna say just the secondary in general. Dart is he loves just to take risks, throw it deep, and we didn't allow any receiver to really burn us. Other than that Darius Slayton touchdown, it wasn't like there weren't really many explosive passing plays, so that was nice. And I mean, we almost picked off Dart. I think there was just a drop by Davis. But all in all, the secondary played well. I didn't really think that we got burnt. And even Gonzo, just that little pass out to Wandale, he lit Wandale up, which was kind of cool to see because I don't Gonzalez isn't really a heavy hitter. He's just kind of a thinner, small guy, but seeing him kind of lay the boom on a littler guy was also kind of fun to watch.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think they're playing at a high level. It's been a while since I felt that a receiver truly went off on us. Although in the Bengals game, I didn't like how we did it. Who was it? Tinsley that did really well against us.
Yeah.
So after a game where we let a complete no-name guy go absolutely off on us, it was nice to see us
and Drake London
business against some. They don't have any what I would consider unreal stars, but they've got good players. Wandale Robinson is no joke. Neither is Slayton. And I feel like we made them non-factors. Even Theo Johnson has shown moments. We only allowed one pass play of over 20 yards, and it was that touchdown by Slayton. That was the only 20-yard plus play that we allowed. And when you're doing that, you make life difficult for offenses. You make them have to work really hard. You make them frustrated, and you make them make mistakes. We very much did that. So can't complain.
No, absolutely not. A very clean game. I'm this was one of the few games where I feel like maybe at all this season where we fired off from all cylinders since the first snap of the game, and both the offense and defense played a really complete game.
Yeah.
Granted, not perfect, but that's very hard to come by in the NFL. But that was this was one of the games where I was I probably felt most pleased with how the team played as a whole.
So, great game. I agree. I think I feel like this is exactly the kind of tone-setting game that we needed to head into the bye. And now the Patriots finally get a break after what has really felt like a really physical and grueling stretch of games. I mean, it's yes, they've been on the easier side in terms of the opponents that we face, but there have been a lot of close ones in there. There have been a lot of physical ones in there, and there have been some injuries along the way. So it's definitely a welcome bye. What would you say are some of the biggest priorities for the team heading into the bye week?
The only thing I really think of, honestly, is just rest. Like, it's been, what is it, 13 weeks? So it's like, that's a lot of football day in, day out. It's just stressful and tiring. So I'm sure the players are just ready to just take a rest from it all and just kind of recover, get ready for the next 4 games, and then hopefully the playoffs. So I just think that, and I think just preparation of like maybe not necessarily just getting too ahead of themselves and prepping for the playoffs, but like start to clean things up, take things a little more seriously, knowing that chances are they will be in the playoffs, unless something crazy happens.
I mean,
but
it's 11 games. They could lose all. They could lose all of them, and
yeah, and
we'll
maybe
still make the playoffs.
I doubt that. Yeah, but I don't know. I think rest is the big priority, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair one. Especially like with all these injuries, I feel like it's a really good thing that we have this bye week in a time where Will Campbell is recovering, where Milton Williams is recovering, where Jared Wilson is recovering, where Brendan Schooler is recovering. We want all these guys back for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
What's Milton Williams' timeline looking like? I know Campbell's probably going to miss pretty much the rest of the regular season. Maybe back for the last game, although I don't see that is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Similar with Jared Wilson.
I know with Williams, he was put on IR, so he was slated to miss 4 games. So I think he has another game or 2 left before he can come back. But I don't remember the extent of what his injury was. Because I want to say he was just like a late injury ad 1 week, because it wasn't like he got carted off the field, if I remember correctly, like a Will Campbell sort of thing.
Yeah, I think
I'll look it up.
I think most people think like late regular season, early playoffs, and then Tonga's also injured, so we've withstood a lot. I don't know what the nature of his injury is. I think he's more week to week, so he might even be back for the Bills game, which would be big. We could use both his interior defensive presence and his fullback ability. So definitely rest is a big one. I think for me, I said it earlier. I'll say it again. Figure out a plan for the red zone. McDaniels and Vrabel need to go watch a bunch of tape and figure out what's happening in the red zone. I mean, part of it's lack of a great rushing game on offense, but there's more than that. And the defense does a good job. So figuring out what's changing in the red zone, what's happening when the field shrinks, what can you do better schematically to make that happen? This is a chance to kind of zoom out and really take a look at everything that's happened this entire season. I mean, you're allowing touchdowns on 75% of red zone trips. It's not a figure that a team that is looking to make the Super Bowl can allow. So I'd love to see them work on it. And I think on defense they're last, but on offense they're 24th. So that's not great either. Yeah, dead last on defense and in the lower quartile for offense. So especially when you're talking about wondering whether this might be the best team in the league, it's not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And given that we're, I feel like most Patriots fans, we're going to spend the Sunday taking a look at our competition, taking a look at what else the NFL has to offer. Let's talk about our biggest threats in the AFC and where they threaten us and where we feel like we can where we feel like we can get them. We're short on time, so we're going to do this a little bit rapid fire. I'll name a team, and then we'll maybe for one team, you'll do the weakness, I'll do the strength, and another team, I'll do the weakness, you do the strength, something like that.
Okay.
Let's start with Denver. Let's where can they hurt us the most?
Their defense is so good. Like that's what I'd be worried about, especially not just their defense, but like I would say the secondary, especially like as a whole, their defense is filthy. Like Bonito is like a great pass rusher, but like Pat Surtain, they got Riley Moss, they got Barron, who's a rookie. Like they have a lot of good. They got Hufanga, who was a Niner last year. Their secondary is really, really good, and I think that's the one thing that'll be kind of scary, especially with like we have good receivers who, to follow the classic Patriot saying, that just does their job. They do their job, but no one to like that. I don't think we would have any like mismatches that would be in our favor on the offensive like receiving side of things. Just because their defense is just like really top notch.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I feel like their secondary is good. They've also got really good linebacker play.
Yeah,
great tacklers, and I feel like just their front seven strong too. It's strong throughout, but I would agree that their secondary is where they threaten us the most. I've been enjoying how well Bonito's playing because he's my IDP in our league on fantasy, but I would like him to start cooling down a little bit.
Yeah. As we draw near the playoffs,
I would agree. They are they're unreal on defense. It's really hard to get anything going, and they take advantage of their chances. They get a good number of turnovers, and they make life difficult. I would say like their pass offense is probably where I would consider them the weakest. The bulk of their I just feel like they haven't had consistency in the passing game. Bo Nix, it feels like he's taken a step back from what was a really good campaign last season, and they've been lacking in terms of explosive plays. They have a number of solid wide receivers, but there's nobody that I would consider a game-breaking threat. And Nix isn't helping. He every once in a while he'll make a throw that's just unreal, and then every once in a while he'll make a throw that makes you wonder why he's in the NFL. So, I think the Patriots can really make some inroads against that Broncos offense. Gonzo, Carlton Davis, Marcus Jones, Alex Austin, that I like that cornerback quartet. with the safeties we've got as well, I favor that matchup over the weapons that the Broncos have to present.
Mm-hmm.
I guess let's go down the line. The Colts.
This is where this is kind of interesting because it's like am I doing a strength or a weakness, I guess? I'll ask first.
Weakness.
Our weakness. Like their weakness or ours, sorry.
Their weakness.
Their weakness. I don't know. I'm gonna say Daniel Jones. Like I think Daniel Jones has been playing well, but a part of me just kind of waits for him to revert back to old ways. And I think a lot of like if we could just get pressure on him, like that's their weakness is the team's only gonna go as far as Daniel Jones can take them. And again, he's been playing really well, but this is kind of like a renaissance, so to speak. Like he's never been this good. And maybe it's just because he was in New York. Maybe he actually is good. But I think once you kind of pressure him and force him to kind of get in his face, that'll be. I think that's their weakness is just kind of forcing the game to be in Daniel Jones' hands rather than like Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I would agree. And I mean, I would say this week was a bit of a return to like pedestrian Daniel Jones. He didn't have the ability to kind of take the game. Honestly, the last couple of games he's been mediocre. I feel like teams are starting to figure him out.
Mm-hmm.
But I will give him credit that even in those two games where he hasn't played well, he hasn't thrown a pick. He's definitely been really good in terms of limiting turnovers. There's a limit to his ceiling, and I think the playoffs will expose it. I think the rest of the schedule will expose it. They're 8-4 right now, but they've got a tough road the rest of the way. They've got Jags, Seahawks, Niners, Jags, and Texans to end the season. That is not a favorable schedule at all. I wouldn't even say they're guaranteed to make the playoffs, as crazy as that is. But speaking of Jacksonville, oh wait, no, I got to do their strength. Jonathan Taylor, that's easy. Again, I'm glad because he's on two of my fantasy teams. But he needs to cool off a little bit.
He needs to chill, yeah.
He's insane. There's I don't know that there's a better way to say it. Like every time he touches the ball, there's a part of me that wonders if he's going to break off a big play every single time. I think part of the credit for that goes to the offensive line, but certainly not all of it. He creates moments for himself, and he's just a good player. He's not a huge there are definitely better receivers, better running backs in terms of pass catching ability, but he still has 35 catches on the year. But as a running back, he's borderline unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad the Patriots have had a good rush defense. We would need, if we were to play the Colts, I would say if Milton Williams and Kairos Tonga are not back, and I think they will be, so it'll be fine. But if those two are not playing, it could make for a really difficult time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Them two being back is it needs to happen.
Yeah.
If we even play them.
As we go down the standings, the somehow in third place Jaguars. They haven't felt like a third place team. It feels weird to call them a third place team.
They seem kind of fraudulent to me. I think they get the kind of like the Colts, where the Colts are actually good. I think they just get the kind of like how we have, other than the Bills, the gift of just playing in the AFC South. So it's like, okay, you get to play Tennessee twice, and you get to play Houston twice, who also isn't very good. But granted, I guess that's the same argument that I was going against in kind of defending us being as good as we are. But I mean, I don't know. A lot of their games just kind of seem like really close and like kind of a little sloppier. I don't know. But I think.
Yeah. I think I'll go back to, well, since we're alternating, I'll go back to me doing strength and you doing weakness.
Okay.
I would say for me, weakness, I would say Trevor Lawrence. I just don't buy it. I'm not buying what he's selling. I feel like he has just been mediocre this entire career, and this season is no exception. Very turnover prone. Obviously, we know that he has a great arm. He has a decent set of legs as well. Has the capability of getting. He has big playability. He's explosive, but very mistake prone. Very prone to making bad throws and bad decisions. And I feel like the Patriots would be able to take advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's similar to Daniel Jones, where it's like, okay, there's certainly physical talent, but a lot of, I think when you go into the pros, like everyone has, for the most part, the talent. A lot of it is like how you process the game and the decisions you make, and they're both kind of bad decision makers at times.
Yeah.
I think Jacksonville's defense is just solid. They have really good linebackers. In Aluakun, I can't remember even how to pronounce his name. And what's the other one's name? They have another edge rusher, Josh Hines Allen, I believe. That's right. So I mean, I think just along the edge, if we're not at full health with our offensive line, that could be kind of how they disrupt us, is just in the pass rush.
Yeah, I would say so. I think, especially with the offensive line injuries we have, that could be an issue. And yeah, they've mostly won games by disrupting. Yeah, I don't feel like their offensive output has been particularly extraordinary.
Well, no, and I just looked it up. They actually have they've allowed the least amount of rushing yards in the league. So I mean, that can be a way, especially with us who have kind of been struggling in the run. That could be pretty significant, and just they could honestly completely take us out of the run game if we play them.
It's a very unfavorable matchup. I would agree, as far as our rush offense against their rush defense. I mean, we might just have to abandon the run entirely and throw the whole time.
The Giants have allowed more than double the rushing yards that the Jags have this year.
Wow.
The Giants have allowed over 2,000 rushing yards, and the Jags are just under 1,000.
How about the AFC North leading Baltimore Ravens, who are 6-6?
What are their strengths?
I think it's pretty obvious, but
their entire offense. I mean, obviously Lamar, he's been playing a little poor lately, but I don't see that lasting very long. I think he's still the same player. So just having to play against Lamar and Derrick Henry is going to be that's got to be the key to shut down, like, which is I'm really afraid of that game, just because, like, yeah, we have a good running defense, but we struggle against rushing quarterbacks, which, like, we see week after week, and Lamar's the best there is. And then it's Derrick Henry. It's not just like any average running back, but like King Henry, who just runs over everybody and really wears a defense down. Like, just that duo right there alone is like, them two can, one of the two can take over a game at any given moment. So That's
Yeah.
their strength.
I would agree. I mean, I like Lamar coming in midseason kind of terrified me. It's going to be interesting to see how we stack up in, I think, 3 weeks, right? And yeah, Lamar's one of those. It's kind of the opposite of Daniel Jones, where we were saying that, oh, he's playing really well, but it's bound to come to an end. Similarly, Lamar has been playing a little bit mediocrely since returning, but there's an expiration date to that. Like we all know what he's capable of. As far as weaknesses, I'm trying to think. It's hard because post Lamar, they're like with Lamar playing at a good level, they're good. I would say their secondary is nothing to write home about. They're solid, not great. They're definitely attackable. I think I would favor our matchups there.
The only person in the secondary I'd really be afraid of is like Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah.
But I don't really think I can't even remember who they have at DBs.
Yeah, especially their corners are definitely nothing to write home about. Nate Wiggins, Chidobe Awuzie, solid players. They're not gonna shoot themselves in the foot, but I think we can get separation for sure. And then, God, who else would you even? Oh, Buffalo, obviously, the other team I would consider competition for us. I mean, I feel like this is pretty obvious. Strengths-wise, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I think right now his lack of receiving depth is definitely something that's bottlenecking him and preventing that offense from playing to the best of their ability. But we all know what he can do in the playoffs. We struggle a bit against a quarterback run. We have, we even struggled a little bit against Justin Fields, and there were some moments for Dart there and all that. But unlike them, Josh Allen can also throw, and he's got a great arm. He's just got this mindset. He's got this fighter in him that's not a tangible factor, but it's just something that we know he's got. He's a competitor. He lives for the big moment. He's been in the big moments much more so than Drake May has. May has that competitive gene as much as anybody would, but what Josh Allen has over him is that he's been in an AFC championship game. He's been in those big playoff moments. Now, he hasn't won those moments almost ever. So, you can also argue that he has a tendency to blow it, but I also don't feel like many of those losses have been on him. I would even go so far as to say he's the best quarterback in the league right now.
Josh Allen?
He just does not have the ability to show it with the players he's got around him. But as far as talent and as far as peak level, I would still consider him the best in the league.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you kind of hit on it. I think their weakness for sure is just the group of pass catchers. Like Dalton Kincaid's fine. Like Khalil Shakir's fine. Keon Coleman's not good. Like a lot of their success is like because of Josh Allen. I bet he's missing Diggs a lot right now. After missing out on him for the last 2 years. So yeah, I think if we can really play tight coverage on his receivers and kind of let it just become a run game, that would probably be best for us. Which is pretty wild to say, like, yeah, we'll just let Josh Allen run it and let James Cook run it. But I'd much rather like just take out the whole big launched down the field by Josh Allen that he does so well, and just kind of force them to make things happen with their legs, which we've been a little better at stopping.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. And I mean, I would say like Kincaid is probably their best chance at hurting us. Just partially because we just suck against tight ends for some reason.
Yeah, and then I'll also say, like I just said earlier, like we struggle against running quarterbacks, which, I mean, yeah, it's true. Josh Allen is also one of the best, but I think it'll be a little easier to stop him if we know that like we're not going to have our hands as full with the receiving core as like, I don't know, I wouldn't even say Baltimore's receiving options are that great. But I mean, you still got a shifty player in like Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman who can kind of just get deep and make things happen. I don't think they really have anybody as dynamic as receiving threats as Baltimore does, even though Baltimore is it would be considered kind of weak at the position as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you for sure. Yeah, biggest. I'd say that probably is a wrap on teams that I actually consider legitimate competition for us. With all due respect to the rest, I mean, we could do Kansas City, but they're not in the playoff picture right now, and I'm manifesting them staying that way.
Yeah, I hope we don't see them in the playoffs. They're the last team I want to see.
No, they don't look good. They really don't. But that's all we have for y'all tonight. We'll next week we'll preview a big game against the Bills, one that we can hopefully use to kind of clinch the division.
Yeah,
maybe like that might even clinch the division on paper, but if it doesn't, it clinches it virtually.
Well, I mean, how many games has Buffalo won?
They're 8-4, so I mean they'll have their hands full against the Bengals.
Well, I feel like for them to win the division, like they'd almost have to win out, and we'd have to lose like 3.
Yeah, but if we can get the tiebreaker against them, like clinch the tiebreaker against them, would be 3 games up with 3 games left. I think that would entirely clinch it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if they win this weekend against the Bengals, then beat us, it's a 1-game division and it becomes dicey. And we'd be 1-1 against them in the head-to-head. I don't know what the tiebreakers would say on that. I'd rather not leave it up to that.
No.
It's also, I mean, the more we can sink the Bills in the standings, the better it is for us, because they're still one of the teams I fear the most.
Yeah, it's the teams I fear the most are definitely Baltimore, Buffalo, and I would even say Kansas City if Kansas City squeaks into the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm still gonna put Denver in there just because of how good that defense is.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I think it's the most important game of the season, and a chance for the Patriots to again prove themselves against bigger competition. Not that I'm particularly worried about what people on the outside have to say. They'll get their answers when their team has to play us. But I think it's a good test for the team. It's a good chance for us to show how far we've come, and it'll be a little tougher without 2 of our best offensive linemen. So I think to see how a less than full strength Patriots can do against a full strength Bills at home, it'll be really interesting. But I think the team should take a few days off for sure, get some rest, and focus on the home stretch. 4 games left in the season.
And
And
playoffs. I
you'll,
haven't felt good about playoffs in forever.
yeah, you'll start getting content, a type of content from us that you have not gotten in a long time. Playoff game previews. That's right.
I look forward to it.
And we look forward to seeing y'all again next week.